We've got a question here. What kind of person will get the most value from this?
Those that are the kind of person that will get the most value is probably two parts. One, the kind of person that sees complexity and cares about complexity.
Okay, yeah,
Kind of person
good.
that sees complicated and sees puzzle pieces. And if I just do this piece and put them together, job done. I think we're sure there's a few tools like that, but we're looking for complexity type thinking, navigating, or
Yes.
no one person has the full story or truth. Are you open to seeing things from different perspectives? Um, and then yeah, because
Curiosity would be a word. If you're curious,
for
curious
sure,
about the
what
world.
do we say? Turning judgment into curiosity, which then
Yeah,
leads to my other big part of it, which is we will talk a little bit about use of self and communityship. Those are
yes.
two core techniques or two, I don't know what to call them, thoughts, ways to look at conversational leadership.
Concepts, maybe.
Concepts. So we will look at use of self and communityship. And so both of those require sort of looking at yourself in the mirror, but also
Yes.
looking at the groups you're a part of, looking for patterns. That type of person, I think, is open and ready, and I would usually even say excited to see conversational leadership.
So there's a lot of self-reflection.
Mm,
Yeah. I think the other thing to note about the workshop is that it isn't only for managers or for leaders. It's really for anybody who who wants to improve actually improve their ability to convene conversations at a relatively simple level. Who wants to practice conversational leadership? Because the whole point about conversational leadership is that anyone can step forward and you know, practice leadership. You don't need to be a manager. You don't need to be an appointed leader in any sense. So I think it's there for anybody. But also, I think the more open you are, the more prepared you are to be vulnerable, the more prepared you are to speak up, the more that you will get from the workshop.
All right, so maybe that takes us then to the very last one. What personally draws you to this work and what keeps you committed to it? Nice. For me, tiny bit of a history. As I, came up through knowledge management, project management, organization development, diversity, equity, inclusion, Gestalt psychotherapy, the commonality I saw across similar but different fields was everyone trying to improve conversations, but oversimplify it. And then even when I met people outside of disciplines that I knew anything about, communications, finance, IT, I found to me the pattern I noticed was we don't really study conversation. We're involved in so many potential, maybe, conversations every day, and yet we take it for granted. And to me, there's something underneath where I sense, ooh, there's times where I feel impactful, helpful, friendly part of the conversation, and there's times where I don't, or I just something's going on for me where I'm not at my best. And so this conversational leadership is meant to see that underneath most everything we work on, there is dialogue, there is conversation, and that's what's sort of what keeps me committed to it. I think the more you and I research this and talk every single week about it and write stuff and run workshops and do the research, it almost shocks us, I think, to find so much more that I think we all take for granted and for some reason is not a little bit like knowledge management is we kind of love and think it should be out there as a standard course of study. Conversation seems to be out there. We're all there. We're all taking it for granted. And now there's something that we can commit to it and improve conversation. The last thing I'll say is, you've taught me this too. The conversational leadership, a big part of it is your own personal responsibility.
Yeah.
So are you willing to show up for conversations, listen, see your own patterns, be a part of conversations that are bigger than you and the conversation that's right in front of you? And then, my favorite part is the emotional, relational part, the part that I still to this day struggle to put words to. There's there's the conversation right now in this call, the conversation I'm hearing and interpreting, the one you're hearing and the one between us. And I think it's that relational conversation that I'm
Yeah,
very drawn to.
totally agree. I've been running knowledge cafes for 24 years. I've been publishing my newsletter for getting on for 30 years. I think there's no question that I'm committed to what I'm doing and that I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I think it comes down to the fact that, well, we've only got to look around the world right now to know that we're living through interesting times, shall we say. I don't know if you're aware that that's a Chinese. May you live in interesting times is a Chinese curse. It's not a compliment. And the most important thing that we need to do in the world is figure out how to better manage our organizations, how to better manage our societies. And the only way we're going to do that is through dialogue. We're not going to my mind, we're not going to do it any other way. So it's what keeps me going. And if I can make a little dent on the universe along the way and just help at least a few people move in a slightly more positive direction, shall we say, then I'll be happy.